that heads of federal law enforcement agencies, or even former heads, are willing to do so, and I appreciate that. I will tell you, I'd be happy to come back to Arkansas and have the same debate in front of an audience of the Arkansas political establishment or law enforcement establishment, so that we can build a different thing. I also want to reassure you that I will root for Arkansas against Alabama this week. But let me say this. On this medical marijuana issue, you just got to stop with it already. Because if you go to the National Institute of Health and plug in the words medical cannabis, the stuff that will come screaming out will blow your mind. The results that are coming in on the therapeutic value of cannabis are astronomical. The stuff about the cigarettes versus, marijuana does not compare to cigarettes in terms of addictiveness. The average marijuana smoker does not consume anything close to what the average tobacco consumer consumes. And beyond that, with vaporizers emerging, many of those harms are being reduced dramatically anyway. You gotta stop. It doesn't make any sense. But look, let me close this off, not by focusing on Asa's thing right here, but because so many of you are sympathetic to the arguments that I'm making in this debate. What I want to stress is that what we're doing here is we are trying to build a political movement, a movement for change in this country. Right? And Drug Policy Alliance, the organization I've been building, that's my life. It's about trying to turn this into a powerful organization and lead a powerful movement. Now, some people will ask, well, who are these guys? I know what they're about. They're just the people who like to, kick back and smoke a joint. And you know what I say to them? There's a little truth to that. Because many of us are people who have smoked marijuana and derived positive benefit, or done some of the hallucinogens or psychedelics and had profoundly positive experiences in our lives. We are people who have basically, for whom drugs has not been a harmful thing, it's actually been a positive thing, and we can't stand the fact that we're being treated as criminals by our government and by our fellow citizens. We believe in the fundamental values of freedom. But you know who else we are? You know who else is part of this key movement? We're also the people who hate drugs. We're the people who have seen the worst that drugs can do. We're the people who have lost our children to overdoses and cleaned up the puke of our alcoholic parents. We're the ones living with a sibling with HIV and somebody else with Hep C. We know how bad drugs can be. We're the ones who have seen the gateway theory hit our families, and we're the ones who wish that we could live in a drug-free society. But you know what? We know that that is not attainable. And we know that deciding to criminalize us because of our addiction and criminalize our families is not the right way to go. We know that the war on drugs is not the way to deal with the reality of addiction in our society. And you know who else we are? We're also the people who don't give a damn about drugs. We don't see ourselves as drug users, although maybe we have that coffee in the morning and that wine in the evening, and maybe our kids on Ritalin and our wife's on Prozac. Maybe grandpa's on Viagra, right? But nonetheless, we don't see ourselves as drug users. But you know what we do care about? We care about basic freedom in this country. We care about the government not tossing $150 to $100 million a year down the drain. We care about government being fiscally responsible with our taxpayer dollars. Because we are libertarians who believe in the role of the market, and because we are civil libertarians who believe in freedom. Because we are people who can't stand the racial injustice of the war on drugs and who recoil at living in a country that leads the world in incarceration. We're the people who don't give a damn about drugs, but care about responsible public policy. So who is this growing movement? We're the people who love drugs, we're the people who hate drugs, and we're the people who don't give a damn about drugs. But every one of us believe that the war on drugs is not the way to deal with this reality in our society. Thank you very much.